I'm here today to talk to you about browning ground beef, and we are going to start by putting some, we've already got our oven on, and we're going to start by adding some ground beef to our pan. We've got about a pound of ground beef, and what we're going to do is we're just going to brown this. And what you first need to do is just kind of chop it up. And as you can tell, the color is still real pink, so what we're trying to do is to get this all to turn brown. You just want to keep chopping until it's brown. Browning ground beef, you can brown it and put it in the freezer, or go right into cooking your dish. You can also put it in the refrigerator and keep it there about 3 days, no longer than 3 days. But you never want to, once ground beef has been frozen, you never want to put it back in the freezer, but you can brown it and then put it back in the freezer. As you can tell, I'm just kind of chopping it up, getting it in our pan. I'm going to turn our oven up a little bit, get it going. And you can always, talking about buying ground beef, you can, you don't always have to buy the leanest meat. I think this is probably the 70-90, meaning that 70% is not fat. And but you can, there's certain methods that you can do to keep it where it's less fattening by buying the inexpensive cuts. So we're going to show you that in just a few minutes as we get this brown. As you can tell, I just kind of keep stirring it. Now, you can also, if you've got other things that you're doing, you can leave this meat to cook for a little while and cover it up. It'll cook a little bit faster. We're just going to get this kind of stirred up. You can also add different herbs and spices and seasonings to it to create different dishes. But you can now hear it. It's starting to sizzle, so it'll be finished pretty quickly. And like I said, this is about a pound. You don't always have to use a pound. You can always cook it up and then divide it out. And then when you get ready to fix a meal with it, all you have to do is take it out of the freezer and thaw it out, and it's ready to go for your dish. So it's a lot quicker and easier to do it ahead of time. As you can tell, it's now starting to really brown. We're getting a lot of the pink out of it. You know, and you can use, I'm using just a spatula. You can use a spoon or whatever works for you. It's different for everybody. Kind of giving it a little toss. And it's finished when all the pink is gone. That's how you kind of tell when your meat gets finished. And the more meat you have, probably the bigger pan you would need. A pound, this pan works well for about a pound. Get my spoon under there. And I've got the oven off a little bit high. But you never want to leave your meat out. Like I said, you want to put it in the refrigerator. Don't keep it sitting out very long. Just because we don't want the bacteria to start growing, and of course that happens and you're preparing a meal. You could make people sick by feeding them the meat that's set out. So as you can tell, almost all the pink is out of there. We've still got a few more spots. Just a little bit. And you can tell there's a lot of grease in the bottom of this pan. So we're going to, in just a second, I'm going to show you how to get all that grease out of there. And we know that you don't want to put the grease just down in your sink. But there's actually certain methods that you can use. You can tell the pink is just about out of there. And all you do is keep stirring. I like my meat to be very chopped up, so that's why I keep using the spoon to keep chopping as I go. But if you want it to be larger chunks, you would just not chop it up as much. Okay, we'll let this sit just for a second. You can tell it's almost all brown. There's a few more spots. If you're going to put some kind of seasoning pack in there to marinate, you know, you could just go on and let it just sit, and you could watch it at this point. But I do like to drain all that grease off of there. So I'm going to show you. Let me get my other pan. I'll show you. I like to use a colander, and this is the best thing to drain your meat. But what I like to do is I like to put a piece of paper towel or something underneath my plate to catch all that grease, because it makes a easier cleanup. I'll do now. My meat is really going, but it's finished. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drain it in our pan and give it a little shake. And you can tell there's quite a bit of grease under here for this one. So, and then what I like to do is I like to take a rag or a paper towel, and I like to blot the meat. And that way, you have to be careful because it is still pretty hot, but that way you really get some extra grease out of there. You know, and that's one way to make the meat a little bit leaner. So you can drain, you can blot it with your paper towel, and then you can also, when you finish doing that, if you want to run a little bit of water over this pan and get more grease out. See, you can already tell there's a lot of grease already that has come out of that meat. So there you go with browning ground beef. Thank you.